Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala, thumma amma ba'd, to proceed. So inshallah today we will have both sessions on fiqh and fiqh of inheritance. And we will just sort of go over a quick summary of what we've discussed before and then proceed to, inshallah, finish the rest of the inheritance of people with designated shares. And this is the most sort of like important part of the fiqh of inheritance. Certainly there are other chapters that are extremely important, such as hajb, blockage, awl, which is proportionate reduction, and rad, which is redistribution. And we will certainly need to pay close attention to the chapter on asabat, residuary heirs. And because this is Hanbali Fiqh, we also need to pay some close attention to the chapter on Zawi al-Arham, or the other kin. But still, this is the most important chapter, and people get a good understanding of this chapter, inshallah, they'll do well in the rest of the fiqh of inheritance. So in order for us to have a good understanding of the fiqh of inheritance, we will first have to memorize who inherits. We'll have to figure out who will inherit and who will not inherit, who is deserving of inheritance and who is not. Why is this important at the beginning? Because when someone comes to you and tells you, someone was survived, someone died and they were survived by so and 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 so, unless you are able to exclude the people who will not get a share of the inheritance, then you'll be in utter confusion. So you'll have to first exclude the people who will not be part of the distribution, will not be part of the distribution or devolution of the property. So I know that we do this every time, but we still ought to do it, I guess. Who will inherit? 10 men and 7 women. Quickly. The first man. Son. Sons. And father. And grandfather. And brother. Brother's sons. And uncle. And uncle's sons. Husband. And the emancipator. How do we make them 15? Okay. Okay, and start here. Brother will be 3 different types of brothers. Okay. And the brother's sons? And uncle? And this uncle is the am, which is the father's brother. So the father's brother could be the father's brother through both parents or paternal. Okay, and uncle's sons, also same thing. So we have one more here, one more here, one more here, that's 3 more. And we have 2 more here, that is 5. Okay? So 5 and 10 is 15. And who are the women? Daughters. Sons, daughters. Mother. Grandmother. Sisters. Wife. Emancipator. Okay. Who will get a designated share? Son? Designated share. Father, first one. Grandfather. Who else? The maternal brother, right? And who else gets a designated share? Husband. Who gets a designated share here? Daughters, sons, daughters, mother, grandmother, sisters, and the wife. Okay. So in this case, 4 men, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 women will get designated shares. So 10 people get designated shares. Last time we went over the daughters. We went over what last time? We went over the daughters and sons' daughters, but also we went over the grandmother last time. Because the previous time we went over the husband and the mother. Last time we went over the grandmother and daughters and sons' daughters. Okay. So because the issue here is repetition is important in this particular chapter. In addition, you need to like sort of have it all together in the same session to have a complete tasawwur or have like a better realization, understanding of the issue. So quickly, the husband gets what? Okay, half without children, quarter with children. Children here would be inheriting offspring. Inheriting offspring would be the sons and daughters, and then the sons' children, the sons' children, and the sons' children, and the sons' children. Okay, so that is inheriting offspring. So 1/2, 1/4. The wife gets what? Quarter and 1/8. Quarter in the absence of the inheriting offspring. 1/8 in the presence of inheriting offspring. The mother gets what? 1/6. And what else? The mother has like 4 ahwal, 4 different cases, 4 different scenarios. 1/6 is in the presence of whom? In the presence of 2 or more siblings, multiplicity of siblings, or offspring, inheriting offspring. And then in their absence, what does she get? 1/3. Except in which case? If there is a wife or a husband and her and a father. She gets 1/3 of the remaining. After the wife gets her quarter, or the husband gets their half, she gets 1/3 of the remaining, and the father gets 2/3, gets the rest. Okay. Then what is her last case? If her child does not have a father, then according to al-Umdat, she becomes the residuary heir. According to the authorized view on the Hanbali madhab, elsewhere, her residuary heirs become the residuary heir, and she gets 1/3. Okay, and then what else did we discuss? The grandmother, and the grandmother gets 1/6, right? It's simple. The grandmother will get 1/6. But the only tricky thing about the grandmother is what?
There's no man in between.
Who? It is about which grandmother, because So the 3 grandmothers and all of their mothers, as long as they are connected by mothers. Who are the 3 grandmothers that will inherit? And then from them go up through women all the way, and everybody will inherit, just through women. Maternal grandmother, al-Ab, al-Ab, paternal grandmother, al-Ab, al-Jad. Okay. The mother of the paternal grandfather will also inherit. from those three grandmothers, maternal grandmother, maternal grandmother, paternal grandmother, and the paternal grandfather's mother. Take these 3 points and go up through women all the way. Every woman will inherit on the way. On the way. Okay. Yes?
Should we put for the sister, the maternal sister, shouldn't it be 7? On that, like the chart?
Maternal sister?
Yeah, sister there, like how we had the brother there.
We didn't turn it here.
Yeah.
Oh, no, these 7, if you want to divide them, you will have 3 different types of sisters. You will have 2 different types of grandmothers. Therefore, you will have 10 total, not 7. So, and grandmother, this would be maternal and paternal. Okay. All right. So, but like we said before, all sisters get designated shares, as we will discuss the sisters now. So now we're done with the grandmother. Okay, and we said the grandmother that will inherit is these. Who is the spouse that will inherit?
When it's not finalized.
Or not finalized. So the current and the unfinalized. As long as the husband can take her back, they can inherit from each other. Once the husband cannot take her back, they cannot inherit from each other. Okay. And then last time we talked about the daughters, and we said the daughters will get what? 1 daughter gets half. 2 or more daughters, they get 2/3. This is certainly in the absence of sons. If they have a brother, then they will divide among themselves. Okay. So in the absence of mu'assib or musharik, mu'assib is the one who will make her residuary heir, and musharik is the one who will basically partner with her in the inheritance. In the absence of mu'assib and musharik, she gets 1/2. In the absence of mu'assib and the presence of musharik or a partner, like another sister, they will all get the 2/3. Okay. Now, and daughters are easy. Sons' daughters will act, what are the scenarios of the sons' daughters?
They get 1/6.
But before this, if there are daughters, they will act like daughters, right? If there are daughters, the sons' daughters act like daughters. So they'll get 1/2 and 2/3, like daughters. If there are certainly if there are no daughters and no brother and she doesn't have an uncle or an aunt. If there are no daughters or sons, and then this applies to any generation, going down all the way. Certainly, if there is nobody above them, if there is nobody between them and the deceased in terms of generations, closer to the deceased in generation. So the daughters and the sons' daughters and the grandsons' daughters and the great-grandsons' daughters, they will get 1/2 if she is alone and no one is above her and no one is with her. If there are more than one daughter at in the same generation, they'll get 2/3. 2/3. Okay. So what is the scenario where she actually gets 1/6? When does she get 1/6? In the presence of one daughter. Since we said multiplicity of daughters will get 2/3, if there is one daughter and she doesn't have a sister, but she has a niece, a son's daughter, that niece will not compete with her, so she will not divide the 2/3 with her. The daughter will get her 1/2 complete. That's the sulbiya, that's the immediate daughter. And the granddaughter will get 1/6. The same will apply to granddaughters and great-granddaughters. The granddaughter, in the absence of a daughter or a son or someone in her generation, will get 1/2. That's the great-granddaughter will get 1/2. The granddaughter. The great-granddaughter will get 1/6. Yeah. So what if we have a great-granddaughter and the great-great whatever, granddaughter? The same will apply. The great-granddaughter will get 1/2 if there is no one above her, no one with her, and the one that her niece will get 1/6. That's clear. So now, what if? So how else do they inherit? Daughters, ta'asib, residuary heirs. If they have a brother, they will be asaba. That's co-residuary heirs. Asaba bil ghayr. They are residuary heirs by someone else. Who caused them to be residuary heirs? Their brother. When do they inherit? And that applies to the daughters as well, the immediate daughters. If there is a brother, there will be co-residuary heirs. Co-residuary heirs. What about? But for the granddaughter and the great-granddaughter, if she does not have a brother to cause her to be a residuary heir, but she has a nephew, does the nephew make her residuary heir? Yes, if she needs him. If she needs him. Because sometimes, if she will inherit on her own a designated share, because why is she inheriting a designated share? Because there is only one daughter, so she gets 1/6. Then in this case, she will not need him. He will have to wait for the remainder if there is remainder. And she will not need him. But if there are two daughters, but there is still a remainder, two daughters will get 2/3. And let's say 2 daughters and then a granddaughter and her brother. So the granddaughter and her brother, after the 2 daughters get their 2/3, the granddaughter and her brother will become residuary heirs and will take the remainder, the rest. Right? When is there no remainder? Exactly. If you have like other people who get designated shares, you have like husband, you have father, mother, and stuff, then they may not be remainder, and then they'll get nothing. So if she needs him, he will be asaba with her. Now we're done with the daughters' sons. Let us go over the sisters. The Shaykh, rahimahullah ta'ala, said, فصل والأخوات للأبوين كالبنات في فرضهن. Subsection, the full sisters are like the daughters concerning their designated shares. Full sisters are like daughters concerning their designated shares. What does he mean by this? Well, certainly the full sisters are not as powerful as the daughters. So, but what does he mean by this? If there are no daughters, no sons, no father, and then if there is a grandfather, also no grandfather, because if there is a grandfather, even though they will inherit, but the division is not going to be like this. They're not going to inherit the 1/2 and the 2/3. So this is the case of kalala. Kalala is the last verse in Surah An-Nisa. يستفتونك قل الله يفتيكم يستفتونك في الكلالة قل الله يفتيكم فيها إن امرؤ هلك ليس له ولد وله أخت فلها نصف ما ترك وهو يرثها إن لم يكن لها ولد فإن كانت 2 فلهما الثلثان مما ترك وإن كانوا إخوة رجال ونساء فللذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين يبين الله لكم أن تضلوا والله بكل شيء عليم. يستفتونك في الكلالة قل الله يفتيكم فيها. They ask you about الكلالة. Say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you a fatwa concerning الكلالة. إن امرؤ هلك ليس له ولد وله أخت. If a man dies and he does not have children, but he has a sister, then she is entitled to 1/2. And if she dies, he will be entitled to all of her inheritance. If there is more than one sister, then they are entitled to 2/3. يستفتونك قل الله يفتيكم في الكلالة إن امرؤ هلك ليس له ولد ولا أخت فلها نصف مما ترك وهو يرثها إن لم يكن لها ولد فإن كانت اثنتين فلهما الثلثان مما ترك وإن كانوا إخوة رجالا ونساء فللذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين. So and if there is no and if there is more than one sister, they will get 2/3. And if there is basically both genders, brothers and sisters, then they'll divide it among themselves, 2 shares for the man, 1 share for the woman, or 2 shares for the brother, 1 share for the sister. Now, so the sisters then will get what? 1/2. No, the wife does not matter. In the presence or absence of wife does not matter. The sisters will get 1/2. The sisters, that is 1 sister. The sisters will get 2/3, that is 2 or more sisters, 2 or more. The sister will be residuary heir with her co-residuary heir. That's where with her brother. But there are the other cases where the sister becomes a co-residuary heir with the daughters, and we will come to this now. So he said that الأخوات للأبوين كالبنات في فرضهن, the full sisters are like the daughters concerning their designated shares. The difference between the full sisters and daughters is what? The full sisters are inheriting if there are no daughters. If they're inheriting their designated shares if there are no daughters, and certainly if there are no sons, and there are no fathers, and there are no grandfathers. The daughters will inherit all, the half and the 2/3 in the presence of everybody except her brother. Except her brother, they will inherit together. Okay. And then the Sheikh said, وَالْأَخَوَاتُ مِنَ الْأَبِ مَعَهُنَّ كَبَنَاتِ الْإِبْنِ مَعَ الْبَنَاتِ سَوَاء وَلَا يُعَصِّبُهُنَّ إِلَّا أَخُوهُنَّ. So the paternal half-sisters with the full sisters are like the son's daughters with the daughters. However, no one except their brother can make them co-residuary heirs. However, no one except their brother can make them co-residuary heirs. So, okay, so I have, let us say, I have someone who was survived, someone who was like a woman died, she was survived by a husband, she was survived by a sister, she was survived by, well, let's just say a husband and a sister. What does the husband get? Half. What does the sister get? Half. Okay. So 2 sisters would have gotten 2/3, and then it will be proportionate reduction. Now, what if we have a husband, a sister, and a daughter? The daughter will get the half. The sister will get nothing. Okay. What if we have a sister, a daughter, and a wife?
Sister and a daughter and a wife. Wife will get and the daughter will get.
The wife will get what? 1/4?
No, daughter will get. No, the wife will get 1/8 because he has a daughter.
Okay. Great. Excellent. 1/8. So what does the daughter get? Half. Do we still have something left? It will go to the sister. Yeah, because the daughter makes the daughter with the sister together, جعلوا الأخوات مع البنات عصبات. So, the Prophet did not say this verbatim, but that's the meaning of what he decreed. So, the daughter will get, in the presence of daughters, the sisters will act like asaba. So she will act like what? Like al-Akh al-Shaqiq. Al-Ukht al-Shaqiqa will act like al-Akh al-Shaqiq. Al-Ukht al-Ab will act like al-Akh al-Ab. So she will act like her brother. She will take the remainder. But what if, okay, this particular, okay. So what if I have,
Last time, because there was.
In the last example, we had a husband, a sister, and a daughter. How come the sister didn't get anything? Husband, sister, and daughter. The daughter gets.
oh, wait a second. No. Sorry. Thank you. The husband would get 1/4. Yes.
Gets the rest.
Yes. She will get the rest. The sister will get the rest. You're right. So the previous example, we started with the husband. The husband is getting 1/4 because of the presence of children. So if the husband is getting 1/4 and the daughter is getting 1/2, the sister is still getting, the rest. Which is, she will get the rest. She will get the remainder because she will act like a residuary heir. So what if we have a mother and a sister that is full and a sister that is paternal? Mother, full sister, paternal sister. That is why he's saying here والأخوات من الأب معهن كبنات الابن مع البنات سواء ولا يعصبهن إلا أخوهن. The paternal half sisters with the full sisters are like the son's daughters with the daughters. However, no one except their brother can make them co-residuary heirs. No one except their brother can make them co-residuary heirs. So what does that mean? I have a mother, I have a sister, and I have a full sister and a paternal sister. What does the mother get?
1/6.
1/3 or 1/6? Because of the multiplicity of what?
They sisters, they siblings.
Siblings. So the mother will get 1/6. What do the sisters get? What does she get?
1/2, and then the other one is.
1/2. What does she get? 1/6. Why? Because I am treating this case as if this was a daughter and this with no granddaughter. In relation to the deceased, it would be granddaughter. So if I have a daughter and a granddaughter, what does the mother get in the presence of a daughter and a granddaughter? 1/6 also. So it will be the mirror image. It will be the mirror image of this. So if I have a daughter and a granddaughter, the mother will get 6, the daughter will get half, the granddaughter will get 1/6. If I don't have the daughter and the granddaughter, if I have the daughter or the granddaughter, the sisters don't get designated shares. The sisters will get the remainder because of the presence of daughters, they'll get the remainder. But in the presence of daughters, the sisters don't get designated shares, right? So in the absence of the daughter and the granddaughter, the sister will take the place of the daughter and get 1/2. That is the full sister. The paternal sister will take the place of the granddaughter, because paternal sister with full sister is like granddaughter with daughter. Because we said that the sisters will get 2/3, right? Multiplicity of sisters, 2 or more sisters, they get 2/3. If you have one sister, what does one sister get? 1/2. What is left of the 2/3 that are designated for sisters, the species of sisters? 1/6. 2/3 minus 1/2 is 1/6. It will go to the paternal sister, because the paternal sister cannot compete with the full sister. She's not going to divide the 2/3 with her, but like the granddaughter does not compete with the immediate daughter, and she will only get the 1/6. also the paternal sister will not compete with the full sister, and she will get 1/6, the remaining 1/6. Now, and then the other scenario that we alluded to before, or that we mentioned before for the sisters, is when the sisters become asabat ma'al ghayr, meaning co-residuary heirs along with others. Who are the others now? The daughters. Remember this statement: اجعلوا الأخوات مع البنات عصبات. Make the sisters in the presence of daughters عصبة, residuary heirs. Make the sisters in the presence of daughter residuary heirs. Make the sisters in the presence of daughters residuary heirs. And that is daughters and sons' daughters, and you just, because daughters is all daughters. Okay, so now if the other is, so the Sheikh here said والأخوات مع البنات عصب لهن ما فضل وليس لهن معهن فريضة مسماة لقول ابن مسعود في بنت وبنت ابن وأخت أقضي فيها بقضاء رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم للبنت النصف ولابنة الابن السدس وما بقي فللأخت. Sisters are co-residuary heirs in the presence of daughters. They get the remainder of the estate, but they would not have a designated share. And that is due to Ibn Mas'ud's statement concerning a daughter, a son's daughter, and a sister. I will judge according to the judgment of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. For the daughter is 1/2, for the son's daughter is 1/6, and the rest is for the sister. So, yeah, so how did we figure out اجعلوا الأخوات مع البنات عصبات, make the sisters residuary heirs, make the sisters in the presence of daughters residuary heirs? How did we figure this out? They went to Abu Musa al-Ash'ari and asked him about a case of inheritance. And they told him that the man was survived by a daughter, a son's daughter, and a sister. They asked Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, what do we do in this case? Abu Musa al-Ash'ari radiyallahu anhu said, give the daughter 1/2 and give the sister 1/2. He said, give the daughter 1/2, give the sister 1/2, because that's what is in the Quran. So he said, go and confirm this with Abdullah bin Mas'ud. Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, if I say the same, or if I adjudicate this case the same way he did, I would have been misguided. I will judge in this case according to the judgment of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The daughter will get 1/2, the son's daughter will get 1/6, and the sister will get the remainder. Okay, so that was Abu Musa al-Ash'ari's understanding of what was in the Quran. But the Quran, as we said, the يَسْتَفْتُونَكَ فِي الْكَلَالَةِ يَقُلِ اللَّهُ يُفْتِيكُمْ فِيهَا. Kalala here means a person who died and did not have children altogether, sons or daughters. So, but in al-Kalala in Arabic could have meant someone who died and did not have ancestors or descendants that are males, male ancestors and male descendants. So, like, he's cut off, like no male ancestors, no male descendants. But al-Kalala in Islamic terminology means someone who died and did not have children, whether daughters or sons, and did not have male ancestors. So male ancestors, no male ancestors, and no children of any sex. But yeah, so now, so this was the judgment of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. We deduce, and he said that this is the judgment of the Prophet ﷺ. We deduce from this that sisters in the presence of daughters will get the remainder. What does it mean that they get the remainder? It means that they are asaba, they are residuary heirs. They are asaba ma'al ghayr, they are residuary heirs along with others along with the sisters. So we have how many cases for the sisters now? If the deceased was kalala, no male ancestors and no children, the sisters will inherit 1/2. If one, two or more will inherit 2/3. The paternal sister, in the presence of a full sister, will get the 1/6, which is the remainder of the 2/3 that are designated for the species of sisters. And in the presence of daughters, the sisters will become residuary heirs. They'll become asaba, meaning what? Just for simplification, meaning that the sister becomes a brother, becomes like a brother. She inherits in this case like a brother. Okay? She will inherit in this case like a brother. She will get the remainder. Now, if she has a brother in any of these scenarios, فإن كانوا إخوة رجالا ونساء فللذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين. If she has brothers in any of these cases, she is not getting a designated share. She is a co-residuary heir with her brothers. Like if the man was survived by a daughter, a brother, and a sister, what does the daughter get? Half. What does the brother get?
2/3 of the remainder.
Okay, so we will not say no designated shares now. We will say that the brother and the sister will get the remainder. And then that remainder will be divided between them. The brother 2 shares, the sister 1 share. So in this case, you will say that, let us say that this is going to be, this half will have to be divided by, so this scenario will have to be done out of 6. So the sister will get 3 out of 6, the brother will get 2 out of 6, and the sister will get 1 out of 6. 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, which is 1/2. Okay, so what if we have 2 daughters? 2 daughters, they will get what? 2/3. So the brother in this case and the sister, what do they get? So 2/3 is what? Is 4/6. So they will get 2/6 together. You want to divide this by 3, you can divide 2 by 3. So you multiply this, it will be 18. You multiply this by 3, it will be 6. So 18 here, if you multiply 6 by 3, it will be 18. Then you multiply the 4 by 3, it will be 12. The daughter is getting 12 out of 18 shares. And then we have 6 out of 18 shares. Wait a second. The 2 daughters are getting 12 out of 18 shares. And then we have 6 out of 18 shares for the brother and the sister. What does the brother get?
4 out of 18 and 2.
4 and 2. Okay, good. So they're getting the remainder. What if there is no remainder? How could there be no remainder?
The husband.
Oh, let's say there is a husband here. The husband will get what?
1/4. 1/4. No, 1/4.
The husband will get 1/4. You see, last time we made a mistake. We said the husband gets 1/2. The husband gets 1/4. There is in the presence of children. You know, there is children here. There are daughters. The husband is getting 1/4. What do we need somebody else?
Mother.
The mother.
Father.
Okay. No, don't say the father. Why you don't say the father? Because in the presence of the father, siblings are not getting anything anyway. They're blocked.
Yeah, but we are saying here there is not much left.
No, but I am saying there is no like in this scenario where there is a mother 1/6, we will still be counting to see if there will be anything left for the siblings, because the mother will not block them. Block. The father will block them. It's not like they're waiting for any remainder. They can't wait for anything. There is a father. They're just not going anywhere. So siblings in the presence of the father will just not be hopeful at all to get anything. Siblings in the presence of a grandfather will be hopeful to get something, according to the majority, not the Hanafis. The Hanafis and one position in the Hanbali madhab, which is the weaker position, we'll come to it. Anyway, so what we're saying here is that in this case, 1/6, 1/4, and 2/3, there is no remainder. The brother and the sister in this case will be out. They're not going to get anything. There is no remainder for them.
No, there is something left. That is.
No, how come? 2/3, 1/6, and 1/4. What is bigger, 1/6 or 1/4? 1/4. 2/3, you have yeah, nothing. Yeah.
There's another آية إن وإن كان رجل يورث كلالة لأن اسمهم شركاء في الثلث. This talks about what?
No, this is the other ayah of Kalala that talks about the maternal half siblings, which we will come to, the half maternal siblings. We will come to this. Which ولكم نصف ما ترك أزواجكم إن لم يكن لهن ولد فإن كان لهن ولد فلكم الربع مما تركنا من بعد وصية يوصين بها أو دين ولهن الربع مما تركتم إن لم يكن لكم ولد فإن كان لكم ولد فلهن الثمن مما تركتم من بعد وصية توصون بها أو دين وإن كان رجل يورث كلالة أو امرأة وله أخ أو أخت فلكل واحد منهما السدس فإن كانوا أكثر من ذلك فهم شركاء في الثلث من بعد وصية يوصى بها أو دين غير مضار وصية من الله والله عليم حليم. So this is a different scenario. This is for the half maternal siblings. And we'll come to it. Okay, so next is the inheritance of the maternal half siblings. Because before we get to the father and the grandfather and all of the complications of the father and the grandfather. So the maternal half siblings, the Sheikh said, فصل والإخوة والأخوات مع الأم سواء ذكرهم وأنثاهم لواحدهم السدس وللاثنين السدسان فإن كانوا أكثر من ذلك فهم شركاء في الثلث. Subsection, the maternal half brothers and sisters are equal, the male like the female. If there is one, he or she gets 1/6. If there are two, each gets 1/6, and if they are more, they are equal partners in 1/3 of the estate. So this verse in Surah An-Nisa, number 12, in Surah An-Nisa, talks about the inheritance of the spouses, also talks about the inheritance of a man who was survived by maternal half siblings, and know what? What is the condition for maternal half siblings to inherit? Yurathu kalala. Kalala means what? Huh? No offspring, no inheriting offspring.
No father or grandfather.
And no male ancestors. No male ancestor. No children, regardless of their gender. No male ancestor, male only. So what does that mean? I have maternal half siblings. So I have a maternal sister and I have a mother and I have a husband. What does the husband get? 1/2, because there are no children, and in the absence of children, the husband gets 1/2. What does the mother get? 1/3. Why does she get 1/3? Because there are no children and there is no multiplicity of siblings. There is only one sibling. What does the maternal sister get? 1/6. What if I have 3 maternal sisters? What do they get? 1/3. فهم شركاء في الثلث. They get 1/3. What if I have 2 maternal siblings? What do they get? 1/3 also. So what if I have a maternal sister and a maternal brother? What do they get? Sister and brother, what do they get? 1/3 still. How do they divide the 1/3? Equally. Why are they dividing it equally? Because they're connected to the deceased through a female. So in this case, you're not going to give preference to the male inheritor because both are connected to the deceased through the mother. They are the deceased's mother's kids. They get equal shares. So you're not going to favor some of them over the others. Yes?
Clarification.
Yeah.
So you still have husband half, mother
Oh, no. In this case, you will certainly demote the mother to 1/6 in the presence of more than one sibling. You demote the mother to 1/6 in the presence of one sibling. The husband will stay where he is. The husband will, because the husband is not affected by the number of siblings. The husband is affected only by the presence of children. Okay, so then let us quickly go over the father because the father is easy, and then in the second session we will go over the grandfather with grandfather in all cases of the grandfather, including grandfather with siblings. So the Sheikh said, فصل وللأبي ثلاثة أحوال حال له السدس وهي مع ذكور الولد. Subsection, the father has 3 possible situations. If there are male descendants of the deceased, he gets 1/6. وحال يكون عصبة وهي مع عدم الولد. He inherits as a residuary heir if there are no inheriting offspring. وحال له الأمران وهي مع إناث الولد. He gets 1/6 and inherits as a residuary heir if there are female descendants. If he gets 1/6 and also acts like a residuary heir if there are female descendants. So, okay. Now remember when we said mother and maternal siblings, we said there are 2 scenarios only in the fiqh of inheritance where you can inherit in the presence of the connection between you and the deceased. The connection between you and the deceased. This is one of them, and this is by the agreement of the scholars. What is the other case when you can inherit in the presence of the connection between you and the deceased? The paternal grandmother. The paternal grandmother can inherit in the presence of her son, who is the father. Or the mother of the paternal grandfather can inherit in the presence of her son, who is the grandfather. So that is the other case, but that's only Hanbali. But this is the only case where they agreed that you would inherit in the presence of the connection between you and the deceased. How are the maternal sisters related to the deceased? Through the mother. The mother is still alive. Can someone inherit in the presence, in the life of their connection to the deceased? Generally speaking, not, except in this case, according to everyone, and except in the case of the paternal grandmother, who will inherit in the presence of her son, according to the Hanbalis. Okay, so now let us get to the scenarios of the father. The father will have 3 different scenarios. 3 different scenarios. The child can have the deceased can have sons or male offspring. Male offspring. Male offspring. In the presence of the father, in the presence of male offspring, what does the father get? 1/6 only, and that's it. He doesn't come back with us. He does not return. He will get the 1/6 and go home. And then, what does the, okay, in the presence of in the presence of female offspring,
He gets 1/6 and the remainder?
he gets 1/6 plus the remainder. So in this case, he acts like someone ذو فرض entitled to a designated share and mu'assib, a residuary heir as well. Why did he not act like this in the presence of male offspring? Because the male offspring, no one will be a residuary heir in their presence. Because when we come to talk about residuary heirs, we will say that the first thing that we care about in terms of residuary heir is we have three things called al-jiha, al-qurb, wal-quwwa. Al-jiha is direction. Al-qurb is proximity. Al-quwwa is strength. The first thing that we look at is what? Al-jiha, in this order. Al-jiha is first, al-qurb is second, al-quwwa is strength. So al-jiha direction, the first direction is down from the deceased, going down from the deceased, and then going up from the deceased. So down first, up second, and then you go to the sides. Which side? The closer side. Is the brother closer or the uncle? The brother, because the brother is the father's child. The uncle is the grandfather's child. So the brother will be first. And then the nephew is closer or the uncle? The nephew is closer. Because from the brother, it will go down. From the brother, so you go brother and down. And then you go uncle and down. And then you go to the distant uncle and down. And you keep on doing for asabat. Okay. The second thing is al-qurb. So if you have a nephew and then a grandnephew. The nephew gets everything, the grandnephew does not get anything. The third thing is al-quwwa, strength. If you have a full brother and a paternal brother, who inherits? The full, stronger. Okay, so that is the order. Here, in the presence of male offspring, the father will only get, because we said 6 people will inherit no matter what. So no one will exclude them completely or block them completely. Who are those 6 people? Father, mother, husband, wife, son, daughter. There is no way, unless we said they killed the apostatized, they killed their father or something. But there is no way, aside from the mawana al-irth, the hindrances, that those 6 people will be completely excluded. So even in the presence of male offspring, the father does still have some entitlement, but it's only 1/6, and then he goes away, does not come back. And then in the presence of female offspring, he will take the 1/6 because the female offspring is very strong. He takes the 1/6 so that she does not, because she takes 1/2. And then if he does not take anything, then he may come back and not find anything. If we say to him, you get the remainder only, because why are we saying he gets 1/6 and remainder? If he's getting the remainder, why are we giving him 1/6? He's getting the remainder anyway. So he'll get everything else left. Because she is very strong, she will take 1/2, and then if he just waits for the remainder, he may not get anything at the end. So we give him 1/6 regardless of anything. We give him 1/6, and if the estate will not be enough for the inheritors, then we will have proportionate reduction for everyone. And then we will tell him, you get the 1/6, and you will wait, since there is no male offspring, you as the father you are entitled to be the residuary heir if there is anything left. And then, okay, so in the absence of both male and female offspring, what does he get? Only the remainder. So you may say, but this is upside down. In the presence of a female offspring, he's getting more. No, he's not getting more. In the presence of female offspring, he's not getting it. We're just reserving the 1/6 for him so that he does get something, and and that's it. But he's not getting more, because in the presence of a female offspring, she got her 1/2 already. Or if they are two, they got their 2/3. They don't care who's there. They got their 2/3. Now we have only 1/3 that is left. That 1/3 that is left, we have 2 daughters, got 2/3. That 1/3 that is left, if you have a husband, you will get 1/4, right?
What are you gonna do now?
What?
He gets 1/4 and they get 2/3. What's the father gonna do?
The father, no, that is why we said the father will have to get his 1/6, does not get the remainder. He will does not only get the remainder. There is female offspring. If there is female offspring, he gets 1/6 plus the remainder. If we did not give him the 1/6 plus the remainder and we told him just the remainder, then it would have been a problem for him. He would have gotten less than the 1/6. Okay, so now let us say there is no female offspring. If there is no female offspring and he gets the remainder, so no male and no female offspring, absence of offspring, and he gets the remainder, how much can the husband get in the absence of male offspring? 1/2, okay. And then there are no children, so let us say the mother, that is the case that we discussed before. That's the Umariya case that was discussed before. But if there is no mother, anyway, he would not get less than the 1/6 anyway, because there are, he would not get less than the 1/6 anyway, because there are no offspring, and in the absence of offspring, you have no daughters, and the daughters cause a problem to any, because they get multiplicity of daughters, they get 2/3. So all that you're working with is 1/3 of the estate after the daughter got their 2/3.
What if there is maternal brothers?
Maternal brothers and sisters never inherit in the presence of a father, never inherit in the presence of a grandfather. They never inherit in the presence of a male ancestor. And they never inherit in the presence of children. They never inherit in the presence of children inheriting offspring of either sex or male ancestors. They never inherit. Okay, so these are the 3 cases for the father. So let us take a mas'ala. Let us take a case. So you have a father, a husband, a son, and you have a mother. Okay, and you have a grandfather. Okay, I'm coming to it. What does the father get? 1/6. What does the husband get? Why did the father get 1/6? Because of the presence of a son. In the presence of a son, he only gets 1/6 and not the remainder. What does the husband get? What is the husband getting? 1/4. What is the son getting? We don't give him anything now. He takes the rest, takes the remainder. What is the mother getting? 1/6. Why is she getting 1/6? Because there is a son. What is the grandfather getting? Nothing, because there is a father. In the presence of the father, the grandfather gets nothing. What is the son getting? the remainder. Okay, good. So if you change this son and make him a daughter, okay, so what is the husband getting? He's still getting his 1/4. Okay, what is the mother getting? She's still getting her 1/6. What is the daughter getting? 1/2. Always, if there is no musharik, no like partner, no other daughters, and no mu'assab, no one to make her residuary heirs, she's getting 1/2. She's getting 1/2. What is the father getting in this case? What does the father get in this case? 1/6 plus the remainder. So in this case, is he getting any remainder? No. In fact, in this case, there has to be proportionate reduction. There has to be aud. We have to basically give each one the same proportion, but less than, everyone will get less than, she will get less than 1/6 of the estate. So let's say, okay, so this particular case, 1/6, because it's out. So if you have 6 and you have 4 and let's go to 12. So this will be 2/12. This will be 3/12. This will be 6/12. This will be 1/6. Multiply 6 by 2, 2/12. So what do you have now? 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 6 is what? 11. 11 plus 2 is 13/12. What do you do in this case? You make the 13 the denominator. So that is proportionate reduction. So that you accommodate everybody and you don't do injustice to anybody. That's proportionate reduction. So the mother would get 2 out of 13 shares. The daughter will get 6 out of 13 shares. The husband will get 3 out of 13. 2 out of 13. So that's called proportionate reduction, and we will come to this later. But here, so that is why we said that we will have to give the father 1/6 so he can compete. Because if we give him the remainder, the remainder guy just waits for the remainder. And then if there is a remainder, he gets it. If he's not remainder, if there is any remainder, he gets whatever is left, no matter how tiny it is. And if there is no remainder, he gets nothing. But here, because we said a father should always get something, then we have to protect him. We have to give him the 1/6, because that's what the Quran also said. Because the Quran said, "يوصيكم الله في أولادكم للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين فإن كن نساء فوق اثنتين فلهن ثلث ما ترك وإن كانت واحدة فلها النصف ولأبويه لكل واحد منهما السدس مما ترك إن كان له ولد فإن لم يكن له ولد وورثه أبواه فلأمه الثلث." So if he does not have children, لأبويه لكل واحد منهما السدس مما ترك. For his parents, for each one of them is 1/6. Okay. If he
doesn't have kids, they get each 1/6?
No, if he has kids,
Oh, then they get 1/6, and if they don't, they get 1/3.
The mother gets one.
يوصيكم الله في أولادكم للذكر مثل حظ الأنثيين فإن كن نساء فوق اثنتين فلهن ثلث ما ترك وإن كانت واحدة فلها نصف ولأبويه لكل واحد منهما السدس مما ترك إن كان له ولد فإن لم يكن له ولد وورثه أبواه ولأبويه لكل واحد منهما السدس. For his parents, each one of them is entitled to 1/6. إن كان له ولد, if he has children. If he has children. If he has no children and his parents inherit him, just his parents are inheriting him, the mother will have 1/3, and then the remainder will go to the father. The father was not mentioned here because he's getting only the remainder in the absence of children. Yes. So these are the scenarios for the father. We will take a little break now and we will come back for the grandfather and the different scenarios of the grandfather. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.